Hello and welcome to this application. I am coming to you in the sounds of nature. My name is Kutemwa Masafwa and I am an international student from Zambia attending Zambian University of Louisiana in New Orleans. This is very unrehearsed because it's just me having a conversation with you guys. Fun fact, I love outside. I love being outside. Anyway, so I'm here to talk to you about adjusting as an international student. I recently made a video about the struggles experienced, and it turns out so many people went through the same thing that I went through. It's so easy to think you're alone when you're going through struggles, but seriously, you are not alone. I know some people adjust really quickly. I did not adjust quickly, so that's the purpose of me making this video, because I know there are people who might also go through the same thing I went through. So I'm just giving you some tips, things that I wish I knew, and things that helped me, that I discovered that helped me along the way. So the first thing is that I'm looking down because my laptop is here. But the first thing is you have to decide who you want to be. A big thing about being abroad in general is that you're going to be exposed to a whole different system, a whole different group of people with different beliefs and different cultures. For me, I realized I had been living in a box my entire life, so you're definitely going to be exposed to so many things, and it's so easy to lose sight of who you are. So I would say the first thing, even maybe before you come here, is you have to decide the kind of person you want to be, and this means what kind of values do you want to decide to hold dear. And I say the word decide very intentionally, because you really have to keep reminding yourself of those things, especially when you're not exposed to the things that gave you that culture, right? You being back home. So really decide. I am a Christian. I had to decide already from the jump, like how am I going to prioritize my Christian life? Like, this is the biggest thing for me, and I had to decide, which things are precious. It's even small things like, birthdays mean a lot to me, so I want to keep that, or stuff like that, because it's so easy, like I said, to lose track when you're not exposed to the things that gave you those beliefs. So really decide what matters to you, what don't you want to lose. Even my accent, I had to decide, like, I'm not losing my accent. I had to intentionally make sure that I'm holding on to it, because it's so easy to, like, subconsciously lose certain things. So decide who you want to be. Second thing is get out of your head. This is just for me. this is what I went through, because in my mind when I came here and I heard the accents, I was like, I'm so different, and people maybe don't even like me, and like I was dealing with a lot of internal issues, and I was definitely exerting them on everyone else. I was like, white people don't like black people, and just like so many stereotypes, the same way. I'll just say this, because Africans get very angry when people ask us questions that are very bad stereotypes, like, do you guys live in the bush? Okay, that's extreme. But like the same way that people here have beliefs about us, we also do the same thing sometimes. Like, I've met so many Africans who just have very bad opinions about anyone who's not African, and that's very bad, because you can't assume a whole group of people the same way that you feel. So just get out of your head. And these people are people. Of course, we grow up differently, we have different beliefs, there are certain things that we won't agree with, but just get out of your head. Like, I've met so many amazing people here who are so different than I am, and there are certain things that we share in common, and we've gotten to build such close bonds. But that's not going to happen if you are still in your head about, I don't know, I think it's different extremes. Like, there are people who are like, these people are so different, they won't like me. And then there are those who are like, I hate these people, I never want to be with them. And so you find like African groups that are just together all the time, which I understand. You need support. Okay, this is really just me talking. Anyway, you really need support. I understand that. But you, like, shunning a whole group of people, a whole continent of people just because they're different from you, is kind of, you're doing the same thing that you are upset that they do to you. So get out of your head, remove all the biases, and like I said, people are people. The same way that there are Africans who are not good, there are also Americans who are not good, but there are also some good people. So open your mind. And that's the next thing. Is one of the things I talked about in my struggles video was the feeling of home, and how you might not have it. I didn't have it for some time, and like I gave the example, that's always the example is, because I really feel it. Like, after you've had a very long day and you just want to go home, like you just want to be in a space where you can just exist, like where everyone knows you, like there are no expectations, I'll put it that way. I didn't have that. So the biggest thing is you have to regain that feeling of home, because you're going to be here for a while. I know some people go home every year, but the fact is you are here. Like, you will be here for a long period of time. You don't want to spend your whole time here just craving and longing to go home. You want to actually have, it doesn't mean that if you develop a feeling of home here, then you lose your feeling of home back home. That is not true. Like, because anyway, Anyway, yeah, the whole point is you have to develop a feeling of home where you are, because that's where comfortability comes from, and being comfortable is so so important, and being peaceful, I can't emphasize that enough. So let's think about it. What makes a home? The biggest thing is familiar people, right? Being around your family and your friends, people who've known you, like, since childhood. They know what it means when you don't speak, they know what it means when you say this certain word that people here don't understand, stuff like that. So the biggest thing is you want to try to build that here. You have to try to build that here where you are. I didn't plan to say this, but I have a friend, I won't say her name, maybe she doesn't want to be exposed like that, but anyway, I have a friend who has never even been to Africa before. And so there's a lot about my culture that she doesn't understand, but she's always asking, like, out of genuine care and curiosity, like she wants to understand what I mean when I say certain things. So now she knows, and now I can tell them to her. How can you keep blaming people for not understanding you when you don't give them the tools that they need to understand you, right? So you have to like make an effort to build that familiarity, and not everyone is going to be genuinely interested. Not everyone is going to like come from a place of, oh, I want to understand you, but you will find those people. So how are you going to find them? By exploring. And like I said, if you get rid of those biases and you're open in any situation to start a conversation, to ask questions, to like just take the extra mile, like, oh, I'm standing behind someone in a line, let me just say hi. Like, Africans are friendly in general. I say in general because not everyone is like that, but it's not like when you say hi to a stranger, maybe, I mean, in the context of like you're at school or internships and things like that, like you just really have to be open. And that also goes the extra mile. One thing I learned here, see, I don't even know how to explain it or how to describe it properly. This video is going to be so long, I apologize, but like how it is when you meet an African here, like it doesn't matter what country they're from, it's always like, oh, like you feel like you've known this person your whole life. Like you just say this one sentence and you have one conversation and you're going to keep checking up on each other, because like there's just that inner bond that you can't really explain. It's usually, I'm speaking from my experience, it wasn't there for me when talking to Americans, so I had to build it. Like I had to learn to be like, oh, do you want to get coffee sometime, do you want to study together? Like I had to create the situations where we could be together physically, because you can't make up for the physical time that comes, like the bonding that comes from physical time, I'll put it that way, right? So I had to learn to instigate, I had to learn to create those things, and I know not everyone doesn't do that. It's just I didn't do that, so I assume I'm not the only one. But I really have to be proactive. Sometimes it might be you who starts it and then the other person can reciprocate, stuff like that. So just build situations where you can have relationships, and this goes even like to you joining organizations, because then you'll be around the same people, or you joining an executive board, or you going to church with someone. Like you have to create those situations where you can like closely bond with people, because that becomes your family while you're here. And when I found that, that's when I felt at home. Like that was such a huge part of me feeling at home. And the second thing that makes home is familiar experiences, right? You get to a point where the environment, like you're kind of used, not that you've changed, but you become used to certain things, and that's not going to happen if you're not open to trying new things. I'm talking to you. Like the food is different, I know. And like I know some people come with food, and I mean, I was in a dorm, I've been in a dorm, I mean, except last year. So I didn't even have the opportunity to cook because there were no kitchens. So I couldn't even cook Nishima. Like, there was nothing I could do. I just had to eat the American food, like, And I found, oh, there's actually food that I like here also. So, you not trying will lead to you being very uncomfortable. Because how often will you be able to, like, cook fufu in the middle of the day? Or, like, when you go to an event, there'll be sandwiches. You know what I'm saying? Like, even though it's good to keep those tastes, I still cook nishima whenever I can, but I've also had to adjust to the food here, because in as much as it's not anything like the food at home, there's some good food in the mix. And that goes to other places as well. Like, you have to be open to try new things. Like, maybe you feel shy to join that organization, but just, try it out. Like, no one ever, I won't say that sentence. Anyway, the point is, you won't know until you try. Like, just be open to try new things, because everything is new. Like, I don't think you'll get comfortable if you're not even trying to do new things. So yeah, and this is within the confines of the person who you decide you want to be. So I'm not saying like do all these random things and do everything and anything that you can. I mean, in the confines of who you've decided to be. Like, be open to trying new things, be open to like suggesting things with people, because you never know what could come out of that. And the next thing is your anchor. Like for me, I talk to my family practically every day. If I haven't called them, I text them. But you really need, even as you, okay, so the first thing is the people back home. You don't want to burn those bridges just because you're in America, you know. Like you have to be very intentional. There's a time difference. My home and here, there's a 7 hour difference. So I can't just like go home whenever I feel like it because maybe they're asleep, stuff like that. So you have to be very intentional. You get to a point where you like find the hot spots. Oh, afternoon for me is night for them, so I can call them, stuff like that. But you really have to be so intentional because it's easy to lose sight or lose track. And also while you're finding your people here, like as you pick your constants, I mean obviously you'll say hi to random people and you have acquaintances, but as you pick your friends, you have to make sure you also have people who are like-minded like you. Like I said, it's easy to lose track, so you need an anchor of some kind, someone to remind you of your values and challenge you when you are wrong and things like that, because it's so easy to go haywire and just lose sight of the person that you want to be. The next thing is be prepared. There will be times when you'll be misunderstood, and there'll be times when people ask questions that make you so angry, like I said, like the bush example and stuff like that. Like I said, the same way that you have misconceptions, there are misconceptions too, and maybe sometimes you have to teach them by sharing your experience, because maybe they've never met another African before, and that happens because there are places here that are very much predominantly American. I'll put it that way. Yeah, predominantly American. So you can also bring knowledge and light to those places. So yes, I know there are different situations. I know for me, I use my name Kutemwa. Sometimes I'll be like, oh, my name is Kutemwa, and they'll be like, oh, I can't say that. Do you have a nickname? And that really offends me because I'm like, can't even try to, it doesn't even have any strange letters. So anyway, there'll be times when things just don't go the way you want them to go and different things like that. So just be prepared for that. Sometimes you have to confront the situation, other times you have to brush it off. Like anyway, just be ready for those times and don't like shut down and want to go home. Like situations like that will happen. We live, we learn. You might end up teaching people something new. And then the next thing is build close professional bonds. In African culture, you talking back to elders, I don't mean talking back as of course, I don't mean disrespect, but here it's so possible for you to like be close to a professor. I don't want you to imply what I'm saying in the wrong direction, but it's so easy to like be able to have a normal conversation about professors. They tell you about their family, and like you can tell them about the struggles you're going through and things like that. And like, oh, you meet a manager of this company, you have a conversation, and like it's normal. They'll be like, oh, reach out to me, message me if you have any issues. That still surprises me, like how open they are. So the point is, you will meet professionals as well as you go. I just call them professionals or just other people in general. And here it's very normal. So that's one thing that I decided to learn and pick from here, because I have grown so much from being able to like have that close relation with my advisor and my different professors in different classes. So this is just what I thought was the big things that made me feel at home here. There's many more. And yeah, thank you for watching. Thank you for visiting my channel. As always, if you have a suggestion of a video that you want me to do or something you want me to expand on, I want the video to be useful to you as a viewer. So please let me know in the comments down below, and I will see you in the next video. And don't forget to share it too.